I don't know how much time I've got left. You know, I'm on a cancer journey. That's true. But is this like a Lord of the Rings, Frodo 3-book series kind of a journey? Or are we talking weekend at Great Wolf Lodge? How does a guy pack for cancer?
Every morning on TV, I share the broadcast news. 7 TV Emmys and 1 million online views. Then the doctor gave a bitter pill to swallow. This just in, it's cancer, no more script to follow. Sudden urgency, now I'm living wide awake. No more teleprompter, no more time to waste. From TV anchor to the headlines of my heart, it's sudden urgency, a brand new start.
And welcome to Sudden Urgency, Chapter 2, Is There a Doctor in the House? Yeah, on the program today, we're going to talk to my doctor. Am I going to make it? How bad is my bladder cancer? What's my prognosis? That's on the program today. I'm Chris, and the whole point is to lay it all out there, unedited, what it's like to live with cancer. And I want to make one thing really clear. Thank you for joining me. I think we can find God by the end of this whole thing, however long my journey is. And that's my point and my hope, to talk about spirit and source and mortality and what it means for us, and maybe even to find a miracle in my cancer prognosis. But you got to walk before you can run, and that's why we're starting out by talking about bladders. Yeah, I saw a chart on Instagram. I want to pop it up for you really quick. I think it's called the Map of Consciousness. And I want to ask you quickly, which word do you most associate with? Which word on this list from top to bottom do you see yourself as? What's your state of being? Mine's nowhere near the top. I'm not up there around, God, mind, and nirvana, and none of that stuff. I'm dab smack in the middle with courage, the word courage. And ironically, that's the start point for everything else that follows. The courage to share my diagnosis, the courage to do it on live TV, the courage to start this project. And if I can find the courage, I know you can too. It all starts with courage. And in the case of today's episode, that means I've got to talk about my bladder. Yesterday I shared my cancer diagnosis, first because I believe we're only as sick as our secrets, and because I want to help. I want to raise awareness. I want to lower mortality. And I asked my doctor if she'd help. And she said, what time, what day? That is the kind of woman Dr. Suzanne Merrill is. I'm so impressed that you got up this morning to join me, and thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
It's also great to not be in a hospital gown while I'm talking to you. Now,
real person.
You're a wonderful urologist. You're a wonderful, obviously, cancer specialist. You've done amazing things. And I want to ask you out of the gate, I think as a cancer patient, the first thing I wanted to know is, am I going to make it? What are my odds?
Yeah.
That's a pretty common thing for somebody to want to know.
It is.
Bladder cancer. How hopeful is it? What is the prognosis for a patient like me? Is bladder cancer treatable? My first question.
Yeah. So certainly bladder cancer is treatable. A lot of new therapies have evolved over the past couple of years, both in the non-muscle invasive bladder cancer setting, which you have, versus also in the muscle invasive setting. So our patients are overall doing a whole lot better. And in the non-muscle invasive setting, we're having treatments in which patients can continue to keep their bladders. They're not having to lose their bladders.
That's one of the fears. I think
Yes.
Coach Prime obviously got a lot of awareness toward bladder cancer, but he had his bladder removed.
Yes.
So there are ways to prevent that from happening. That's not the go-to step anymore.
That's correct.
All right.
A lot of new therapies out there doing really well.
I want to talk about symptoms,
Okay.
because obviously with all cancers, we say like the earlier it's caught, the better your odds. Is that true usually?
That's correct.
So you want to know as soon as possible. Spencer will never forget it. She and I were sitting right over there, and I told her one morning last October, remember? I was like, there's blood in my pee, and this doesn't seem right to me. I thought it might have been a UTI. Is that the most common symptom of bladder cancer?
Yes, blood in the urine is the most common symptom. And so if a patient has that, especially without any other symptoms, such as a urinary tract infection, burning, frequency, just blood, they need to seek care with their primary care and of course, if they can, with the urologist right away.
Right. I called my doctor. He said, go straight to a specialist.
Yeah.
So the sooner you can get in, that's the #1 symptom of early stage would be blood.
Correct.
Okay, so if you have blood in your urine, don't mess around with it. See if it's a UTI, get it checked out. Now I want to talk about ways to prevent bladder cancer, because I'm sorry to admit it. My viewers know that I was a smoker for probably 10 or 15 years. Then I switched to vaping, and I was a vapor for about 10 years. Smoking is the #1 cause of bladder cancer, do we think?
That's correct. It's the #1 cause. Over 50% of cases are caused by smoking. This is the most modifiable, risk factor. Other kind of risk factors are chemical exposures,
Right, if you work in a warehouse.
Leather,
Gotcha.
Dye. Again, these industrial, fumes can be, but those are hard to relate, but certainly a risk factor too. Family history of bladder cancer is very important as well.
Sure. Yeah, if I could go back, trust me, I'd have never picked up those Parliament lights. Before we go, I do want to ask you one last thing. It seems to me we've seen a lot of headlines about like breakthrough treatments in the larger context of cancer. Are we at a watershed moment where the word cancer no longer means terminal and is now treatable? It seems like there's a lot of breakthroughs.
That's correct, and especially in bladder cancer. We haven't seen these types of breakthroughs in decades. So we're really making moves and making impacts for our patients, extending lives, better quality of life because they're able to keep their bladders, better survivability. It's awesome. It's a great time to be both in medicine and a patient.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor.
Oh, you're so welcome.
You and all the folks there at Colorado Urology, you really are a wonderful, wonderful physician. And when you sit down with somebody, you want them to be somebody you trust. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
And you at home can email me too any more questions. We'll keep the conversation going.